All right, joining us now tonight from Washington is the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, a Republican from the great state of Louisiana. Speaker Johnson, we thank you for joining us here and taking time to speak with us. Listen, I give you credit for coming out here. You've been doing numerous interviews on every network, including ours, and you took that call from that military family. That can't be easy to hear those types of calls. I do want to start with the issue of military pay. NBC News has reporting from two sources that during a call with congressional Republicans, you rejected the idea of doing a standalone bill for military pay. What do you say to military families who are incredibly worried about not getting that next paycheck? Why wouldn't you at least try to get a standalone bill together?
Well, I tell them that we're worried about their not getting paid as well, and that's why we already voted to pay the troops. We did that 3 weeks ago almost. September 19th, the continuing resolution that all the Republicans voted for was to keep the government open, to keep military families paid, to keep their veterans' health services going, to keep the Border Patrol and TSA agents and air traffic controllers and everybody else paid at their current levels. Every Democrat in the House of Representatives, except one, voted to close the government down and to stop their pay. Their concern is not with the Republicans. We did that job. It has been sitting on the desk of Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats. We passed it out of the House. The ball is in the Senate's court right now, and that's why I'm insisting that they get to work and they open the government so that our troops can be paid.
Speaking of 3 weeks ago, you know, Speaker Johnson, a very prominent member of your Republican caucus, Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, has been critical of you for not bringing the House back into session. Why shouldn't they come back to work on this?
Because the House did its job. Marjorie's critical of me all the time for all sorts of things, okay? The House did its work. We sent the bill over. We passed a clean continuing resolution. What that means for the folks back home is it's a simple stopgap funding measure to keep the lights on, to keep government operating so that we can finish the federal budgeting to spend the taxpayers' dollars wisely. That was Republicans and Democrats that decided upon the date. We just needed 7 more weeks. I sent over there a clean CR for the Senate to do its work. And by the way, Senator Schumer and the Democrat senators who have now voted 7 times to close the government and cause all this harm voted for the same CR as recently as March. Chuck Schumer was the champion for passing it just 7 months ago.
But
identical product, he's saying no now.
Explain it to our viewers, though, but why shouldn't they be there working for their constituents there in Washington? Why send them home? Couldn't you guys get some work done, number one? And number two, is this just a political play not to give Democrats any type of momentum?
No, this is House Republicans are doing a huge amount of work. We had a conference call today assessing all of that. They're in their districts right now. What they're doing is helping their constituents navigate the harms that have been caused by the Democrats who are playing political games here and closing the government. Again, they voted 7 times to shut the government down. So our members are in their districts helping, for example, their rural hospitals navigate to get the funding. Republicans passed $50 billion to prop up rural hospitals to support the health care of their constituents, and Chuck Schumer's counterproposal is to claw that back and not spend it. There is really important work being done right now, and we'll get back to regular session as soon as the Senate votes to turn the lights back on.
All right. The Democrats are refusing to vote for the spending bill in the Senate because they want to extend enhanced Obamacare subsidies that expire at the end of the year. And yet a survey by the nonpartisan health policy research group KFF found that 78% of adults believe those enhanced subsidies should be extended. That includes 82% of independents and roughly 6 in 10 Republicans. The Constitution requires compromise between legislators, and Americans support what they're asking for. So I guess, Speaker Johnson, my question to you, why not give it to them? And I got to ask, you're a year away from the midterms. Are you starting to sweat this?
No one has made a decision on those subsidies. There's a lot of reforms, probably 100 different ideas on how to improve it. The reason that Obamacare is having to be subsidized is because premiums have gone through the roof. When Obamacare was passed in 2010, they promised that the cost of care would go down. It's risen 60% since that time. There are a lot of ideas on how to reform it and make it better, but you said the key phrase, end of the year. That is a December 31st policy decision. It had nothing to do with keeping the government open on September 30th, the end of the fiscal year, so that Republicans and Democrats can be here to have those debates and figure out how to resolve it. They're not telling the American people the truth. What is a simple truth here is that Republicans have now voted repeatedly to keep the government open, and the Democrats have voted repeatedly to shut it down. They're trying to make a political moment out of this at the expense of real people back home that are being hurt. Come and do your job, I would say to the Senate Democrats.
Let's talk about those comments that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer made, telling Punchbowl News that every day the shutdown continues gets better for Democrats. He said he was talking about their health care argument. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, clean up on aisle 5. Chuck Schumer told you exactly what he thinks. He's doing this for his own benefit. He is afraid he's going to get a challenge from the Marxist left in his party. Remember, he's a senator from New York. New York is about to elect a Marxist, the mayor of New York City. He is terrified that he's going to get a challenge to his left flank and he's going to lose his seat. He's been in Congress for 44 years, so he made a calculation. He cannot take the heat from the left of his party, and he decided to pull this political stunt for that reason. One reason alone. Everybody in Washington knows that's what's going on here, and it is infuriating to us that they're using the American people as pawns in this game.
We've done the right
thing, we've done the easy thing, and it should happen again.
I want to play you something President Trump said just today about cuts he may make during the shutdown. Let's take a listen.
We'll be making cuts that will be permanent, and we're only going to cut Democrat programs. I hate to tell you, I guess that makes sense, but we're only cutting Democrat programs.
So, Speaker Johnson, these are programs that may impact real Americans. Are you comfortable with the president cutting them along purely partisan lines?
The president has a responsibility to prioritize, triage effectively federal spending. Chuck Schumer decided to turn off the streams of federal funding. So now the administration has to look at that with their own lens and determine which services, policies, and personnel are essential and which are not. They have no choice in the matter. They take no pleasure in that. In fact, I was in the Oval Office with President Trump just a little over a week ago. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries are there, Leader Thune. President Trump pleaded with Chuck Schumer not to play games and not to close the government, because none of us want this to happen. He chose the opposite route. And so he has put the president in the position where he has to make those tough choices.
Well, President
Chuck Schumer is the one that can open the government and stop this.
Speaking of choices the president may make, he has said he's open to permanently laying off or firing some of these federal workers that have been furloughed. Who is the president talking about here? Can you explain that to our viewers?
I don't know. I haven't spoken to him about those details. I do know that he's getting a collection of legal analysis from attorneys who are trying to determine what the law fully provides and how much back pay is provided. But I can tell you where the president's heart is.
Wait, Speaker, but do you support the president firing furloughed workers?
I support, look, we're limited government conservatives, and there is too much inefficiency in the federal government. It's too large. It does too many things. There are programs that probably should be eliminated, but we want federal employees to be protected. I believe we have always followed the tradition. I think it's the law that the furloughed employees of the federal government because of a shutdown should be given back pay. I think that's what's going to happen here. The president doesn't want a single American employee to be harmed. There are good, patriotic people who serve the government, provide all these services for the people, but he has to make decisions about which are the most essential and which are the least essential, and that would be on any president of any party in a situation like this. That is totally unnecessary.
I hear you on the back pay part. It sounds like you want them to follow the law to the letter there to get the back pay, because that's what the law calls for. But about firing furloughed workers, the Wall Street Journal right now has an exclusive report that Senator Thune has lobbied the White House to stop talking about that is not helping the process. Do you agree with Senator Thune on this?
I haven't talked to Senator Thune about that issue. I'm telling you what my position is, and I think this is very unfortunate. I think Chuck Schumer holds the keys to the kingdom here. I think that he could get at least 5 Senate Democrats to come to their senses and do the right thing, to do what they have always done in the past until they wanted to oppose President Trump. Do the right thing by the people. Put your politics aside. Let's everybody get back to work here.
Speaker Johnson, if the politics is the reason, right, and say Democrats are holding out for this, are you worried that this is going to scar you going into the midterms? Again, we're just a year out from Americans going back to vote for the House.
Not at all, because the truth is a very powerful thing, and as John Adams said, facts are stubborn things. Everyone will look back on this and analyze what happened. Republicans did the good faith thing, the right thing by the people, and voted to keep the government open, and the Democrats voted over and over to shut it down, period, end of story. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, you know, the House can be a complicated place. There's so many laws there. Things are kind of strange for people who don't follow it day to day. For our viewers here, Speaker Johnson, explain this one to us, right? I want to ask you about the Arizona Democrat Adelina Grijalva, who was elected to fill her late father's seat in Congress last month. You've not set a date to swear her in just yet, saying she was elected after the House was out of session, but she's been elected. Why not get her sworn in?
because we're not in session because Chuck Schumer shut down the government. Okay, we had a special exception here a couple of months ago where we had 2 Florida representatives elected in a special election like that one, and we did administer the oath to them in a pro forma session, which is a session where basically no one's here. But the reason we did that, very different situation, is because they had a date specified and scheduled. They brought in all their family and friends and supporters, and they were the ones here. So as a courtesy to them, we went ahead and administered the oath. Representative-elect Grijalva is a very different situation. She just won her special election after the House was out of session.
But I just want to ask you real quick.
The day we get back, as soon as we return, we'll of course administer the oath to her. That's the tradition here.
Yeah, because people are saying she may be the 218th vote on that discharge petition to force a vote on the Epstein files. You're saying it's just pure coincidence that she's happened to be delayed, right?
Yes, look, everything to Democrats is about Epstein here every day. It's a moot point. The House Oversight Committee, in a bipartisan fashion, is investigating the Epstein matter and releasing the files. Subpoenas are flying. They're being complied with by Department of Justice and others. And we have the Oversight Committee lawyers in New York City combing through the Epstein estate files, things that were never even anticipated before. There will be maximum disclosure there. The only thing that will be protected and redacted is the name of the innocent victims who have already suffered so much harm. We have to protect them. We have a duty to do that.
Speaker, I know we have to go. Any advice to Senator Thune to get those 5 holdout Democrats to vote with the Republicans in the Senate?
My advice to Senator Thune is continue to do it. Put the bill on the floor. It's a simple, clean CR. The advice is to Chuck Schumer, stop playing games with real Americans' lives. It's a very serious matter.
Speaker Johnson, we thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.